Good morning. Oh, happy Tuesday. I know I missed yesterday. So, yesterday was my birthday. And this birthday was a little bit different. I was just in a different energy space. And I literally just could not. Like, my body was just like, lay there. And I laid there. So, I apologize that I missed to celebrate my birthday with you. But we celebrate pretty much the whole, because I start the Virgo. Well, I don't start it, but I'm in the beginning of the Virgo season, so I just go for the whole August to the end of September, up until my mama's birthday, right? Because she's September, the end of September. So I, but I hope everyone had a good weekend. My family, my mom and my niece was here with me this weekend, so I was able to spend some time with them. Um, I'll be meeting up with them again tomorrow. We'll be meeting up in Chi-Town, Chicago, and then we'll spend a couple of days there as a family, including my sister. So I'm excited for that. So today, let's talk about this. This came up in one of my midnight internet scrolls. Okay. And someone was talking about karma, like karma. I don't believe, she said she doesn't believe it because she never feels like people get the kickback that they deserve. And so I try to help her understand that, and a lot of people try to help her understand, like the concept that, someone does something wrong to you, like it has to come back to them the same way. And I feel like I don't know where people get that from, right? Someone does something bad to you that hurts you, and that's valid. However, if you want that person to feel your pain, unfortunately, what they did to you, if you do it to them, it doesn't really bother them. Morning, Bola. Yes, I did. I had a restful birthday. I did a lot of resting yesterday. A lot of resting. Hence why I didn't join, right? Because I was like resting. Right? But yeah, so the way that they hurt you, if you were to do that to them, it will have no impact on them, right? So this is, I want us to get, if you're a person who craves, I want people to get karma. If you crave that, um, I do want you to like throw that idea away because I think you're gonna hurt yourself even more trying to hurt other people the way that they hurt you. And again, I don't think a lot of people understand that it's not for us to always do anything back, right? I always say if we go to God and God, we talk to God about this, if someone does something wrong to you, go to the Lord, He will handle it, right? I know someone close to me, they have helped me to understand this for like the last 10 years. And so, yeah, there's a lot of energy focusing on the negative, right? If you leave that situation alone, I guarantee you, God knows what's going to really hurt that person. Because what I kept seeing in this particular post, because the people that were signing with her, they're like, yeah, they still living their best life. They still, got nice cars. They still going on vacations. I said, and for some way, I said, some way, somehow, you feel like taking those things away from that person is going to make them feel, it's going to make you feel better. I said, but if you take away those things from that person, that may not even it may not even impact them emotionally. They might just be like, oh, okay, this is another season that I'm not having massive vacations, or I'm not getting those extreme bonuses. Like it's nothing to them. But when you go to God and you leave it in God's hands, God knows how to hurt them. Or I don't want to say hurt them because I don't want to feel like God is out here just like, oh, you hurt my daughter, I'm gonna go, oh, hey, like I don't want us to think that way. But God knows how to get back at that person in a way that you would never ever understand, right? And so I know someone without putting out all of the business, but the person cheated on them, conceived, had another kid, And the person never did anything, right? The person that was cheated on never did anything, never said anything bad, never said anything crazy, never tried to get their lick back. Oh, I'm gonna do this to you. Da, da. They never did anything. They stayed so graceful, so peaceful. And it was amazing to watch that because it was just like, I know how this story would have ended. I know how this story would have ended with other people, right? Other people would have been like, and they was just like, look, I'm hurt. Yeah, they acknowledged that they were hurt, and they was like, look, if I'm not gonna, there's nothing that I can do that's gonna hurt them enough. So I might as well just wash my hands with it, and whatever they're supposed to get, they're gonna get. And I mean, cheating probably would have been the easiest thing for that person to deal with because when they started telling, yeah, over the over 5 years, this is all that they dealt with. And I was just like, Dad, yeah, cheating would have been the easiest thing for them to deal with. So when you just leave those things alone, people are going to bury themselves, they're going to dig themselves. And again, there are things that we don't know what people truly desire. So I think the problem with karma is that a lot of people have this mindset, it's always tied to money, right? It's always tied to money. Exactly, Bola. That's not how God works, right? And I don't want to write things like, I think He's gonna get back at us. No, that's not how He works. But He's going to do whatever that needs to be done for people, right? However that's gonna play out. A door might close, right? A door that they really desire. There's people out here, they have a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money, but they don't have the love that they want, right? That could be the karma that they receive. They don't have the love that they want. They don't have someone to come home to, someone to pick up the phone, right? And that could be family, that could be friends, right? That person could just have what you have perceived as everything. They have everything, and it's not fair. I want them to have the justice. I want justice the way that they hurt me. It's nothing that you can do. You may not ever even see the impact of this. Sorry, Bola, I see you writing over there. I'm gonna get to that, right? Oh, matter of fact, I think I found a way to add. I don't know. Okay, let me see. So Bola said, think of what we've done to others, and if God could do the karma. Yeah, right. God has a lot of grace for us. And that's something I keep telling people. Like, that's one, this is why I try not to do bad things to people, right? I'm a firm believer. No, I ain't trying to go out here and do bad things to people because I don't want anything done to me. And then sometimes you will do things to people that are bad and it's not even intentional, right? Something like, and those are also things that I don't think people think about. Sometimes people have done things to you that was not even intentional, right? How many times have people said something, they offended you in some way, and they didn't even know because they don't know your past. They don't know your triggers. They don't know your history. And they could have just said a word. And now you're like up in smoke. You ready to fight. And it's like, well, wait, I didn't even know I did that. I didn't even know I hurt you. I'm sorry. And you don't, in your mind, you're like, well, there's no sorry for that. And now you're out here hoping and praying that something bad will happen to them, that they'll get this karma. That wasn't even something that was intentional, right? There's so many layers to this. And this is the reason why I say, at the end of the day, it's not our business how that person gets their get back. But I always warn, and I warn people close to me, don't play with fire that you have no understanding of. And even if you think you have an understanding of it, still don't do it. Because you don't know what you're going to open, what you're going to enter in. And that means, like, what do Tanisha, what do I mean? I'm going to be like, I've heard people, they go to witch doctors, and voodoo, and they get these special candles. And no, leave that alone, right? Leave that alone, because now you're entering a whole spiritual realm that a lot of people never understand, right? The spiritual realm, it has so many layers that I truly believe that we would never understand how it can be truly dark and it can be very dangerous. So when I hear people, you go that route, I'm just like, no, come back over here. Like, leave it alone, right? I know you want to see this person hurt. I know you want to see them, hurt the way that they hurt you, or however you felt that they hurt you. And you want first row seats so that you can say, yes, they got what they should have gotten, and I'm happy now. But guess what? Now all you're doing is creating a cycle. And that I do believe. And I believe when we start creating cycles, it doesn't get better for anyone because you'll end up having highs, and then next thing you know, now you're having lows, having highs, having lows, having highs, having lows. Good morning, Paula. Right? And so the last thing Bola said, when you're spiritually mature, the common thing won't even be exactly. This is how I'm telling y'all. It took me many years to get to this point of understanding. I don't care. If you hurt me, yes, I'm going to feel the pain, right? And then I'm going to go to God and I'm going to ask God to help me to deal with this pain. It's never going to be, and make sure that they feel what I, no. Right? Because you could sit here and do the same thing as what they do, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, that's nothing to me. Like, you was crying about that, but it's done to me, and that's nothing, right? So we have to understand that. Good morning, Paula. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I had nothing in me yesterday. I had nothing. Y'all would have thought I was over here partying all weekend. Like, I was out here like I was 22 again. And I was just like, 40 into 41 resting, right? But I also need that rest because I have a lot. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well, right? So I want us to also free ourselves from this scoreboard, right? Don't create this scoreboard. You're trying to get back at this person, or they did 5 things wrong to you, and so now you need 5 things to happen to them. Leave that alone. Like I said, you're playing, trying to track how people get theirs back. You're going to be miserable at the end of the day. That's a lot of energy and time. I don't know if you have the resources for that. I know that I don't. So I'm going to need you to find something to pour into. Okay, as always, and that's the thing I spoke about this last week, right? When you're frustrated, no, this was I think 2 weeks ago. When you're frustrated, when you're annoyed, right? How to take that energy and go, and sometimes you can just take a nap, or you can go into like creative mode. That's what you might need to do, right? Refocus that energy somewhere else, not in the I can't wait for them to get theirs back, because like I keep saying, I keep telling people, I'm like, you can take, because someone was saying, someone stole money from me and I want them to lose all their money. You're talking about that to somebody who might either easily know how to get money, right? They might have a lot of money. So they might have stole 10,000 from you or taken 10,000 from you. And now you want them to lose 10,000. Losing 10,000 for them is like losing a water balloon, because the water is like, there's nothing. Like, okay, I have 10,000 more. So that doesn't bother them. But now you feel better. In your mind, you feel better. Well, they lost 10,000, so I feel better now. You actually don't feel better because you still got all this resentment. You still got all this anger. So you don't feel better, right? If you want to be honest with yourself, you're never going to, because if that person loses and they still have a smile on the face, that I'm going to tell y'all something. That's what really irritates people. People that smile through a loss to what the world conceives as a loss, when those people continue smiling or they have the quickest bounce back, that's going to piss you off even more. I promise you it is. Because now you're going to really try to figure out, how come this person is never losing? Because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're trying to keep score of something that has nothing to do with you. You have to figure out how are you going to heal from this? That's what you need to figure. What's going to be your bounce back from this? Because sitting around waiting for that person to get theirs back, again, you may never see it. I mean, look at how social media is already set up. People talk about this all the time. Nobody ever highlights the downfalls, right? Like I think during the springtime, somebody had posted, do people get rejected from grad school? Because I've never seen anyone say that they were rejected from grad school. I feel like everyone just gets accepted. People only post that. And like literally, I want to say, like, as I was scrolling, maybe a few scrolls down, someone had posted that they had applied to Penn State, I think it was, or University of Pennsylvania, I think it was, and they got denied. They didn't get accepted into the grad program. And I was like, look at this, how ironic. So I was able to take a screenshot and go back to that post and be like, look, they do, right? Some people do post the failures, or the denials. They do. It's just that we're not often seeing that, but it does happen. Yeah. I work in higher education. I know people don't get accepted. I've sat in program meetings where they're like, we received 2,000 applicants for this particular program, but we can only accept 75. Yeah, someone didn't get accepted, right? But a lot of people. So you got to think about it that way. There are some people out here that no matter what, they're never going to post those things that they really desire. The things that keep them up 2, 4 o'clock in the morning that you don't know anything about, right? Because all you're focusing on is the kind of car that they have. You're focusing on how much money that they have. You're focusing on the material things. And God is like, yeah, there's more to this, right? There are things that people secretly desire and they don't talk about it. And they hurt because they don't have it. They don't have they will probably trade in all of the money and all of the material things for that one thing. But you're looking at it like, yes, they got everything. They live in a life. And you don't even realize that there is something that person goes to bed every night and they cry about. You don't know that. Because all you see is what you want to see and what you're keeping track of, and you're keeping track of the wrong things. Keep track of the things that really matter. Keep track of the things that, and I'm gonna promise you, you still won't even know. Because until that person opens it up and tell you, like, man, I really wish that I had this. I wish I could trade all this in and I can have this one thing. There are people that they wish that they could bring back. This is why we got to look at, we have a lot of case studies that you can actually study. Look at celebrities who have killed themselves and they have millions of dollars, more money than all of us will ever see if in our lifetime. And those people said, you know what, this is not enough because this is what I really want and I can't get it and I'll never have it. And so my life doesn't even matter. You have to think about it from that perspective. So imagine you're sitting here praying that this person loses everything, and in their minds, they already lost everything. You're just comparing your paycheck and your bank account, but you don't realize the things that they really want, the stuff that they will trade in easily with you. That's what they're not going to ever get for whatever reason. It could be a reason spiritual for what God might be blocking. He might not want them. Right? There's so many people. I always think about the Bible and how, because someone was like, everyone is going to get married. Well, we read the Bible, everyone does not get married, right? And you have some people that's all that they want. They want their person. They're one person. And they know when they meet people, this ain't my person. So they just keep passing it by. Like, nope. And so they're out here pouring into other things. They're making money, they're building their businesses, right? And you're seeing them and you're probably thinking to yourself, man, this person has the life. But that person is constantly talking to God. They're probably even fasting. God, can you bring me my wife? Can you bring me my husband? Can you bring me my children, God? And they're like, and they can only do what they can focus on until that thing comes. And that's their health, probably, their business, their careers. And they got to leave the things that they have no control over in God's hands and continue to do those things. But that's what's keeping them up. And now this person might have wronged you intentionally or not being intentional. And you're sitting here praying that they lose everything. And this person is like, man, I would sacrifice all of that to have the life that I truly want. And you're sitting here thinking, this is not fair. Girls, ma'am, sir, whoever you are out there, you feel this way, you carry this resentment, I promise you, it's time for you to release that. It's time for you to drop that. It's time for you to let that go. I promise you, you're doing yourself more damage. You're doing yourself more harm. Nothing is going to come from this besides more anger and frustration. Because imagine if you got two gods, his biggest blessings at war with one another. He's going to keep blessing both of y'all. I truly believe that. And y'all going to just get irritated with each other because you're a blessing, they're a blessing. And God is just like, y'all just got this one little issue right here, but I'm going to keep blessing both of y'all. And neither one of y'all going to be satisfied because you're sitting here praying that the person has a downfall. And it's just like, that's what y'all focusing on? Because if you knew what the downfall really looked like, you would not even be focusing on these material things, right? Bola said earlier, I know what she was referencing. Taking a nap and get a snack, right? That's always my key. Take a nap. You feeling some type of way? Take a nap. That's why I think yesterday I had a heavy feeling. I just slept. Like lunchtime, took a nap, right? Just take a nap. It was raining yesterday too, so I couldn't even go sit in the sun, right? I couldn't tap into the things that I normally would like to do when I'm feeling some type of way, being in nature, right? Because it was just raining all day. It rained all day from the time that I woke up after dropping my mom and my niece off to the airport until like 7 o'clock last night. And I was just like, dang. But guess what? Take a nap. So I just really wanted to share this, and I probably would share this on Threads where I saw that post in hopes that the young lady would possibly see this. But just focus on, I don't want you to focus on someone's downfall. I want you to really focus on your rise, right? The things that are going to rise for you, that's going to rise in your life. You know, the next blessing. And I want to talk about what's the next blessing, right? So great news. So Tulsa is having, I think it's the first. Tulsa is having their first Tulsa Tech Week, right? So you probably heard like Afro Tech, other cities are having tech weeks as well. So Tulsa's having their first tech week, the end of September. And, for professionally, outside of teaching, I also do educational technology. So I help people to utilize technology in their courses for online and teach them how to utilize it, things of that nature. And then I explore like different AI tools with like my colleagues. Like I work with some really smart people. I love my team. And we started working with chatbots a couple of months ago. So I introduced y'all to the one that I have. So I was just like, how can I bring a little bit of Miss Inspiration to Tulsa Tech Week? And so I submitted. So I will be speaking about just showing them as a service provider. So talking about coaches, so any type of coach, a life coach, personal trainer, even a therapist, they could utilize a chat box that could help them to get through the preliminary questions to kind of help build that profile of that particular client and not miss out on time in their sessions, right? So a lot of the coaches that I know, they might have a three session package. So that first session ends up being you're trying to pull all this information out from that individual, and that's taking up a lot of the time of actually the implementation, the work that needs to be done. So I figured that we talk about this chat box and help them to like see how this can actually do a lot of the preliminary work for them, and so that they can get, it can be emailed to them, even 24 hours before the first session. And now they have a good idea of how this person is, what their goals are, what are they trying to achieve, what have they attempted in the past. Like you can really customize it to make it what you need it to be, what information you want. And it's only for that particular topic. So the one that I created is the Hidden Talent Simulator, and the Hidden Talent Simulator is only focusing on pulling from you. What are your experiences? What are your desires? What are you really good at? What do you think about? Those kind of questions. If you go off track, it brings you right back. Right? If you don't answer one of the questions, it's going to continue to ask you that question, and they're going to try to reword it in a different phrase. So if you were to go into my particular chatbot and want to start talking about something that's not relevant to it, is going to continue to bring you back to this particular topic, because it's not a regular chat GPT. It's not Gemini. This is just one particular chat box. So that's what I'm going to be presenting on at Tulsa Tech Week. And I'm really excited. So the next thing is, and I always, I love to give credit to people that pour into me and kind of help me. And a couple of months ago, Bola, Dr. Diesel, she had, encouraged me and was like, maybe you should start, and maybe you should do, and maybe you should start teaching other people. So what I would love to do is what I'm working on right now, because it's only a month away. I'm working on finding a team because that's going to be the offer, right? For those service providers, I don't want to just talk to you about it and then be like, go about your business. There will be opportunity for them to, for someone to work with us, and then we'll be able to build that out for you. So we will figure out everything that you desire. We will ask you for all of those resources, those tools. The cool thing is like you can feed it documents. So let's say you have a video that like a framework, right? So let's say you have a framework and maybe you did a really great video or speaking engagement and you spoke about this framework, you broke it down and you transcribed it. You can now also feed that into the chat box. And this will help to formulate the questions. And again, it's using like keyword recognition. So it's really extensive. And I think that it would be game changing for a lot of service providers. And that's my audience. My audience will be the service providers. But the platform that we use, they have actually shown us like almost every industry. Education is using it. You're seeing more professors are creating like homework help chatbots. And it's like you got to like you if you can think of it, I'm pretty sure you can create it. So that's what I'm going to be presenting at the end of September. So I'm excited about that. So again, that's where I'm going to put my energy in for the next couple of weeks. And I will say, not next week, but the week after, the week of the 8th, that will be a break week, right? So you know how I take breaks every few weeks. That week will be a break week because I have some major things happening in my personal life that I want to give my full attention to. And I don't want to like miss out. So what's going to end up happening that week is that we're going to be replaying we're going to go back to the beginning of this with the 21 days of living and thriving as Miss Inspiration, and we'll go for the first 7 days. So that would be a Monday through Sunday. Every single day, it will be a live video. Well, a live video. But I just want to put that out there now. But yeah, so as always, if you have any questions, thank you, Paula. Yeah, I thought it was so great, and I was just like, I got to start getting my feet out there, you know, in Tulsa, connecting. So I just thought when I saw it, when I heard about it, I said, let me see if they'll select me, and they did. So, you know, I'm excited about the next chapter of, you know, Purposeful Training. That's the name of my business, because I actually do have like a whole business, and I was like, I haven't really done much. I think the last time was like last year. I still worked with faculty members, but this year I'm like, no, we're gonna put my boots to the ground, not the dance, y'all, not the dance. I'm gonna put my boots to the ground, and Purposeful Training is gonna, you know, we're gonna end the year strong. That's my goal. We're gonna end 2025 strong. So as always, you can go ahead and connect with me on my link tree. You can check out about my books. I will have an update about the community, but I will talk to the community about that first. My courses, and as always, my blog. But yeah, go ahead, check in. We're here every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m.-ish. Yeah, today was a 7 a.m.-ish kind of day. But as always, I love you. Thank you for being here. We had a couple of people that was here for some time, and I appreciate them. And I appreciate everyone. And as always, if you have not hit that like button, especially if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, please, so that we can kind of get pushed out there and people can know that we're here. And if you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button as well, or share it in case someone out there needs this. Again, we're not doing the karma thing. We're not doing that. Throw that out the window. Focus on what you need to be focusing on. Find you a new hobby. Find you a new pet project that you need to focus on. Fall is coming. Start cleaning out them closets. You got things to do. Stop worrying about what other people are doing and how they're gonna get they're gonna get theirs back. We're not doing that. Leave that energy in the past. Okay? We'll be back here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I love you guys. Have a great day on purpose, with purpose. See you soon.